Welcome to Phoenix Holdings. Do I have the Protocol X team here with me? Could you say hello?
Yes, hello, hello.
Hey, how's it
Good
going?
day, good sir. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, we are.
Beautiful. Okay, well, let's get started with having you guys introduce yourselves, your roles on the team, a brief introduction about yourselves. Kind of like your experience in crypto business, that sort of thing, and then we'll go into the project after that. So I'll give you the floor. Please go ahead.
Thanks. So first I'll start up here. My name is Neil. I'm Shiblord on the socials there. I'm the founder and CEO of Protocol X. I have a team of 6 total, including myself, that are out here building this up with me. But I'll go into a little bit about myself and my experience in crypto. I started investing in crypto back in about 2018. I have an economics educational background and just kind of diversified my investment strategies back then. This past year in January is when I got my first community manager job on a DeFi protocol. From there, I've started to get more involved in the DeFi atmosphere, ultimately bringing it up to this development and implementation of Protocol X. I've also ran a small business in the real world. I have experience via military, public service, and small business, and now I'm crypto full time, running this Protocol X and a couple other investment strategies in the space.
Hello, guys. My name is Brandon, also known as Bran in Web3. I am the CM of Protocol X, one of the founders, not founders, one of the core team, sorry, alongside Neil and 4 others that are building Protocol X. So a bit about myself. I joined the crypto space about 2 or so year ago. Started investing in blue chips, swing trading, scalping, all of that good stuff. I then found myself in DeFi. Once I got into DeFi, it was a whole new world for me. Absolutely loved it. Some people call it the Wild West, but I think that's the best part of it sometimes. I've community managed for multiple projects, have extensive marketing history in crypto, and obviously advising crypto projects as well. I'm currently the CM of, community manager of Protocol X.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Oh, wait a second. This is showing on half the other screen. Let's just move this over here. Well, welcome, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm excited to hear about this project. I took a read through the white paper and I've looked through the website and everything looks really, really nice. You guys are adding a little bit of a new twist to something familiar. You're adding a twist to make it more sustainable. So before I tell the people about what it is that you're doing, maybe you guys could just give a brief introduction to what you're doing. Not really in depth. I'll ask some more in-depth questions after. But what is Protocol X?
Yeah, so on the most fundamental basic level, Protocol X is a rebased protocol on the Binance Smart Chain on BSC. And we've seen many of those pop up. The developmental side of this came from observing many others in the space and maybe what they're good at, and then also what they were very poor at, and kind of accumulating this protocol into some various levels that allow us to basically materialize sustainability, transparency, security, and also really zone into that passive income on DeFi. I think as we've kind of navigated the last year, there's been a lot of us that maybe you get a W on some of these that you get in nice and early on, but eventually they go down 90, 99%. And then you're just hoping for the best if you didn't get your ROI from there. So we've taken a lot of those different things. And from day one, we are increasing and investing in sustainability variables. We have various sustainability mechanisms built into the contracts of it itself. And we're going to be very, very transparent. My entire team is doxxed. I'm KYC'd by Assure. I'm also partnered with Assure for our DEX once we get that live. So we are kind of navigating this new world where it's passive income, transparent, security in the sense of there's accountability for those involved, and sustainability variables with the rebase token, which has not really been implemented in the way that we're doing it just yet.
Yeah, very interesting. I really like how you guys are doing your rebase model and your APY, how it's reduced by 10% from the previous months. It's really interesting, actually. It seems very sustainable. Also, you have some really cool utilities that are involved that I was reading about. So let's talk a little bit about what really separates you guys from the other projects that are, have tried to do this and didn't work out. So what is it that will make your guys' model work, whereas theirs wouldn't?
Okay, I'll touch base on this a little bit. Thank you for asking. So, with regards to our model, so the first thing you can see there, and it's on the screen now, is the SEM model. So, what the SEM model in a nutshell is, as you said, a also reducing APY 10% monthly. Now, what that does, it doesn't just change that massive 400,000 APY down to 63,000. But what that also does is, once you get past month 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you get to about the fourth or fifth month, any new person coming in is going to have really good APR. So their daily interest is still going to be really good. But what you're not going to have is a multitude of whales coming in, still being able to triple or double their tokens in a matter of a couple of weeks, and then dump on the holders who have been holding. Now, not only have we got the SEM model, we're also developing our own, well, it's not our own, but we're using and developing Solars. If you've not heard of Solar Protocol, they are currently our development team who are helping us build the project. They are KYC and docs through Tulip DAO. So there's no anonymous developer in our protocol. So everyone that is working, albeit if they're on Solar's team, they are still obviously reliable as a company for any contracts that are being done. All of the contracts will then be owned by Neil, who is the sole founder of the project. So not only have we got the SEM model and the liquidity management model that we're integrating into the system, today we've also, we're not going to speak too much about it yet because we want to finalize the mathematics sides of it, but there's also another model that we've introduced based on the liquidity, which we're currently trialing, that will change sort of how rebase protocols work. What we're looking to do is apply anything that will have sustainability to the project. Now, one major thing that we're doing is from day one, which is very rare in projects, we'll have an external revenue source. Now, as you know, when you have a project of a rebase magnitude, 9 times out of 10, they have to dump the treasury, they have to sell funds, teams tokens to get staff pay. You have to pay for development, you have to pay for marketing. Regarding R1, what we'll be doing is with our partnership with Ego, we'll be using from day one their trading bot, which is been returning on average a 20 to 80% per month as a base guideline, and has yet to have a negative month. So we'll be using that as a calculated risk to not only grow our treasury, but also bring in external revenues from day one, while we can also build our original business model, which we'll touch base on later once we've got the documents laid out, and obviously we've spoken to VCs and partnerships. But what I say we, in a nutshell, what separates us most from other protocols is the fact that we're not going, hey, here's a massive unsustainable APY. Let's build something that is one of the most sustainable rebase projects. And if this model doesn't work, no other model will work. Do you know what I mean in that sense? That if we are building a model which has auto reducing APY, external revenue sources, liquidity management systems, further liquidity management systems, which we'll expand on in the future, developing and delving into also treasury bots, which in the future, I'll touch on that quickly. 3, 4, 5, 6 months into a project, the project runs dry of money. They need to dump some of their treasury. What we're looking to introduce is, alongside the liquidity management system, also a treasury management system, which has never been done before. So instead of the team going, hey, we want to sell 100,000 to pay for this, what we want to introduce is something that we can go automatically sell small portions when there's a larger buy, to also further that sustainability, and it go, hey, it wasn't the team that wanted to dump 100,000, it's the protocol working in itself to build itself so it can grow.
That's brilliant. I was going to ask about that. I was wondering if the bot meant sort of like a market maker that you guys were going to be using, but and I suppose it kind of is, but it's more than that. Yeah, there's actually quite a bit involved in this project. You've got farming and staking, and the trading bot sustainability mechanism, and the treasury, the automated liquidity router. Geez, it gets pretty deep here. This
It
is
does, and that's something we pride ourselves on because at the base, a rebase project is just a marketing strategy. Let's be honest. The high APY, the promised millions of dollars in gains every year. But what we want to do is, we don't want to fix we don't want to recreate the wheel. We want to fix and add stuff to the wheel to make it more efficient. Now we all know rebase projects are extremely large in the BSC space. So what we're trying to do is go, hey, how can we actually make them sustainable? And if not, what can we do to actually bring something new to the rebase model that isn't done by someone else and that hasn't been tried yet? Now, instead of promising these millions and millions of dollars of gains, how can we actually make this sustainable, create a rising floor, and actually develop off of that while also feeding the protocol?
brilliant, brilliant. Okay, let's get a little bit deeper into this then. So it is going to be a BEP20 project, meaning BNB based. And you are going to have NFTs, which is very interesting. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. How will, okay, so you've got rebase, you've got a sort of like halving mechanism that your white paper talks about, which is really cool, and you've already talked about. And you guys have kind of a lower supply, so there's going to be it's going to be a little bit more. You're going to have a pricier token as you go forward. And let's see here. What will the NFTs offer to the investor? Why will we need NFTs with a rebase model project?
Yeah, so those NFTs. Oh, sorry, I think I'm echoing a little bit. Is my voice good? Sorry.
Yeah, you're actually not echoing at all. It's perfect.
Perfect. All right. So the NFT mechanism that we have here excites me by quite a bit. So kind of as I mentioned at the beginning, this whole DeFi passive income thing is one of the problems that we're actually just trying to solve here to create a space that is, genuine passive income, right? So this goes in a couple of different ways. The rebase token are what they are. Many of us are familiar with them. We can talk about them extensively. But the NFTs are a way for us to basically take some of the revenue that comes in via the tax that is associated with these rebase tokens and give it back to those who are willing and wanting to put money back into the ecosystem in the form of NFTs. So there's going to be a couple updates on the white paper that'll come out today that we just updated and refined the document just a little bit. We're going to make the NFTs a bit more exclusive. So there's going to be 4 tiers this time, but lesser total supply for all of them. Same exact fee distribution. This just makes them a little bit more valuable. So 2% of the 2% of the buy tax and 2% of the sales tax starting when we go live on Friday immediately goes over to an X share wallet. X shares are what we're calling this revenue share NFTs. So with that wallet, it'll be accumulating, just constantly every time somebody buys or sells a token. These NFTs are going to go live probably in about 3 to 4 weeks from whenever we go live with the protocol. So for these 3 to 4 weeks, we will be gathering just revenue in this wallet, just sitting there waiting to get distributed to those who own these NFTs when they eventually mint. So when we restructure this, it's going to be 5,000 of the base tier NFTs, and then there'll be 2 upgradable tiers that'll be upgraded via the exchanging of PTX tokens for a key mechanism, which facilitates a burn mechanism. And there'll also be a very exclusive tier of NFTs, 100 total of these, and they'll be serving as a governance token, and they're only distributed via specific events. We're going to release a whole Medium article on that today. So if anyone's willing to check that out, we'll get that out here this week so that all that information is out there for everyone to kind of evaluate there. So the NFTs, in a sense, are a passive income mechanism that is in concurrence with the ecosystem in of itself, but it's taking a piece of the revenue that we're bringing in and giving it back to the people. So it's not, that Ponzi economic theory. Yes, there does need to be buys and sells to, add into the taxes associated with it. But I'm not selling you these NFTs are going to generate X% per day. I'm selling you that they're going to accumulate 2% of the buy fees, 2% of the sale fees, and be distributed accordingly to those who own them indefinitely. So in the first couple of months, you'll probably hit your return on investment, just normally speaking. And then from there, you're just rolling, you're rocking and rolling from there. And for us, it gives us more money to build and invest with. So all the entirety, 100% of the revenue that we bring in from the NFT mints will go right back into our sustainability variables and building to our next tiers of additional aspects to the protocol. So it allows us to expand it. I like the NFT mechanism. I think it's a more legitimate means that we can all kind of grasp and navigate around. It also reaches out to a different audience than maybe a rebase token would. So it kind of gathers the attention from all different levels there. I think this NFT system is going to be not only a very attractive thing for investors, but it'll be a very important aspect of our protocol as we navigate the short, mid, and long term of what we're looking to achieve here.
Of course, and just to touch base on that quickly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry to cut. No, of course. So the way we're future-proofing this as well is obviously it's a revenue share model, but we understand that sometimes projects can, no matter how much you build, they can still die out, and we completely understand that. Some of the best projects I've seen have zero volume, and that's not because the project's bad. It's just because it's no one's hyped about it anymore. So there's a way that we're building these NFTs, and it will make sense when I explain it, right? So what the NFTs are, instead of just being a card or a generic, here's an NFT, it's a pass, this will give you revenue shares. What we're building is we're building passageways. Now, the NFT itself will be an AI-generated passageway. Now, what that enables us to do, so if the internal revenues burn out, we can then branch to external. So that's where our partnerships with Ego as such build into play as well. So specific tiers will have specific rewards. Now, not only will they have rewards, the reason why we've picked the door is to future-proof our gamification side of it. So if we just had like a gold card NFT, for example, that was your pass to earning revenue, what that does, it limits the protocol. Whereas if we use the passageway NFT style, which we've been using, we could then transfer that into gamification, which means that these revenue share models can also generate airdrops from the NFTs, generate future airdrops from any games we build, and so forth and so forth. So even if you do hit ROI and the project's volume slows down, which is quite normal in the space, we'll then have the funding to expand the NFTs and take them to another level to make sure that they're still gaining revenue. So we're sort of using the node aspect of it, where, you got the Gala games where they've built the games and you get rewards, is without actually making it a node protocol. So there's no Ponzonomics side of it. It's actually building it based off external revenue sources and utility.
Brilliant. I just wanted to give you a couple seconds there in case you were just taking a breath or whatnot.
Yeah, sometimes me and Neil can go on forever, so please cut me off if I'm talking too much.
No. I don't want to cut you off. That's the thing. It's your project. You know more about it than I do. I'm learning here, so I'm just listening. Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's a different take on a revenue sharing NFT. Okay, so that sort of ties into. It feels like it ties into the farming aspect and into the bot aspect, the NFTs. They're kind of all working together. Is that correct, or am I still not quite grasping it?
Of course. So I'll explain it in sort of layman terms how everything will work. So we're initially in pre-sale, right, for Protocol X, which is our rebase token. So a rebase token essentially is a quote-unquote cash cow. It's the king of the ecosystem. It's something that can constantly generate revenue from within, right? So what we're looking to do is use Protocol X to build Protocol X. So the entire ecosystem will benefit off each other. So when the farms and the staking launch, there'll be a token called XSwap. Now that will be the token of the ecosystem. So the DEX, right? Our DEX XSwap is actually officially partnered with Assure DeFi. So one of the top leading KYC firms in DeFi. They are our official partners for the DEX. So anybody that's on the DEX will have to be a KYC project. I see you guys respect on Docs founders and stuff. We do as well. So that's one reason why our DEX is different. It won't be just generic projects. It will be partners and people that are willing to grow in the space. Now, the way that everything works is eventually you'll be able to wrap your PTX. What wrapping your PTX does is it ignites an index function within the contract. to automatically rebase the token without it going up in value. So when I say value, I mean the token amount while it's wrapped. So instead, the value of that token will rise instead of the number of tokens. It's a very in detail process. But what that allows us to do is then you're then able to stake your PTX for XSwap and vice versa. So what you'll be able to do is then use the entire ecosystem to feed itself. So as Shib touched base on, using your rebases. So if you're 3-4 months down the line and you're still earning 1.22% a day as such, you could then use the rebases that you're earning to buy your X keys. Now, X keys are another part that links the system together. We are currently working on infographics to make it, make more sense. So essentially, when you use your PTX to buy X keys, you'll be able to upgrade your revenue share model. So what that would do is that then opens the next tiers, but also burns PTX, and you'll be able to earn PTX and XSwap by staking each other. So the whole ecosystem aligns, and eventually, what that does, it allows us to introduce the X shares, which are the revenue model, and the X keys and the PTX into a gamification system to then further increase the burn, further increase the revenue, and grow the token all together. So instead of people having to go, hey, I need to sell some Protocol X to buy some XSwap, no, you could just use your PTX to earn XSwap. You could just use your XSwap to earn PTX. You could just use your revenue share model to earn BUSD or whatever token you're rewarded in to then purchase within the ecosystem. So it will never be a thing where people will have to sell one for another. It's all about earning from each other and using each part of the ecosystem to grow the entire ecosystem.
Brilliant. I love decentralized finance. It is so genius, and it opens up avenues of creating passive income like we've never seen before. And granted, to the new person when they enter in it might seem like it's rocket science, but after a while of participating in projects and doing your own research, it begins to make sense, and it begins to open up kind of like a sorry for the cheesiness of it, but like a tree of life for passive income, where there's just all of these different avenues that you can earn where in one project, and you guys are really embodying and encapsulating that. So when I look here at your protocol treasury, it says that you guys will be investing in various DeFi protocols with varying risk. Does that mean that it will be just the team who decides what gets invested into, or will you guys be having a DAO? And I think that you will, because I think I heard you say something about voting rights earlier. I might have made that up. Will you be having a DAO as well?
Yeah, so there's a couple different things to think about there. So we're not going to be a DAO by definition. So at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to bring the best to the project and to the business. And we've seen many a DAOs kind of pop up, and once people have the final say, they're going to vote in their best interest primarily, and that could become problematic if not developed correctly, right? But we will have some form of a governance token. So with those NFTs, that highest tier, the legendary one, well, they will have a governance vote. And the way I'm going to treat that is the way I do with any one of my team members. We have 6 members on my team, Brand included, and Brand's here. I know CK somewhere in the chat. They can very much so reaffirm that I give them the same voice that I have. Now, technically, yeah, am I making the final decisions? Sure. But that being said, their voice is just as important to me than my own considerations with how we're developing everything here. And that's how the legendary NFTs holders, those 100, it's almost like a council, will be able to have their voice spread out there. So they would have that equal say as any one of us, and I'll take it into just as much consideration as I do my team and my own thought process there. But that being said, for the initial investments, it is us deciding which ones are going to be invested into, at least in the near term, none of which are locked in. So none of them are, I know I like yield nodes personally, but you lock in for 6 months for your initial, right? So I understand that it is what it is. But the Ego Treasury Bot's going to be our primary investor. Then I have a couple other partners that I've already worked with or working with that we will facilitate some investments with, including MDB. I've had a couple of corporate calls with Freeway. So I'll probably put some of the investment in there. A lot of this depends on how much is generated within the treasury, but it's all percentage based. So it's really not that big of a deal. And then we also need to have some money set aside for our building and stuff like that there. So it all kind of works in congruency with each other. Initially, I want that ego trading bot to be our primary revenue stream, but I'll very, very quickly diversify that, because those gains, obviously I understand the risk associated with anything, and here including things that have shown pretty reasonable rates, right? So then we diversify it, maybe get into some, safer blue chips, maybe, look at other just various growing protocols. We can even kind of do that little modified VC thing where people start looking at seed phases of protocols. It really does open the doors, but that'll be to be determined as we kind of navigate past this. I'd love to get that revenue from the trading bot day one. That's why we're investing in that day one. And that might open up the opportunity for, something like $20,000 to $40,000 worth of buybacks and burns from a small project that we see big rebase projects cannot even do that much on their buybacks and burns per month. So that's going to put us ahead very, very early and very often, in my opinion, as we then distribute that glory and kind of navigate it accordingly into a variety of risk, various investments there, including maybe some higher ones, but definitely at a lower cost value associated with those.
My friend, this is decentralized finance, and we all really love risk. I don't think anyone's afraid of risk if they're in DeFi. So higher the risk, the higher reward. We all understand that. I don't think anyone's afraid of risk. We all just want the gains, and we want, sustainability, I suppose, is becoming more of a desire. And I appreciate that, because I think that decentralized finance investors are becoming a little bit more mature, a little bit more savvy, rather than just trying to get their, 10x within 10 minutes. They're starting to think months down the line, which I'm really happy about, because I'm tired of getting dumped on, to be honest.
I totally agree with you as well, because I think the biggest problem with moon culture was that people got too attached to projects. So even if their moon fantasy did come true, they found that once the pump was gone, they were there holding, empty bags. So I think practicing the sustainability side is really important, because, everyone's here to make money, right? But sometimes people do fall in love with projects. I've been guilty of it myself. There's times where I've bag held projects to the ground because I believed in them so much, right? But if there's no sustainability aspect, eventually that will happen. The inevitable, the pump and dump. It happens. So if you're focusing mainly on sustainability, then what you're doing is you're protecting them investors from that, moon boy mentality, and saying, hey, we 10x in market cap. Okay, but then anyone that purchased after that is now at a loss. So we are trying our best to make it sustainable, passive income wise, rather than be, the next moonshot, because realistically, moonshots never end well. Yes, people make a lot of money. We can't deny that. But then the small majority, the 1% that made a bunch of money, the 99% that didn't, end up bag holding and being stuck there. So if we can make it sustainable and we can make it last, longer than 2 months like most projects do, then, we're happy, and we want to build, we want to grow, and we want to make it sustainable.
Brilliant. I love that. Like I was touching on earlier, I'm really looking forward to this space maturing. And although, there'll always be the moon boys, and there'll always be the meme projects and the rug pulls and scams and all that sort of stuff, if we can just have at least 50% sustainable projects, then I think that we're doing much better than we've seen over the past year. I think over the past year, DeFi has been getting kind of a bad name because of the moon boy culture. So hand clap to you guys for being a part of the maturing of the space. Definitely appreciate that. A question that I really like to ask with projects like this, because they are a little bit more detail oriented, is maybe you could explain how you yourself would invest in this project. You know the ins and outs of it. So because you know the ins and outs of it, you understand it. How would you invest if you were going to invest in this project, just to give our listeners an understanding of maybe the best way to approach it, and Yeah, not financial advice, but just more understanding. That's what I'm looking for here.
Essentially, we obviously can't tell you how to invest your money. That is the standard fact. But what we will say, and what I will say here is, Protocol X is the investment. That is what we are selling, right? The brand, the name, the company is Protocol X. So the only reasonable answer is to buy Protocol X. Now, obviously, that's not financial advice, and that is just me saying what we are. Now, the reason why I say that is we are looking to build everything off of Protocol X. So everything that we do will be to benefit Protocol X. Now, not only can you buy yourself an initial bag, take your rebases every day, sell them, hold your initial bag, but what you can also do is once you've then returned your ROI, which is what I usually recommend. I never recommend bag holding. I mean, taking your initial and riding is usually the best thing. If you want to hold, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I do it myself. You're able to hold, and but I would never just sit there and say to hold. Now, there obviously will be incentives and reasons why people should hold, but that's obviously down to your own discretion. Now, what I am doing personally, I am invested in my own protocol, obviously. So I will be holding because I know the longevity side of it, right? So, of course, the team earn their salary, the team earn, for the work they do. We're very transparent with that. I mean, our entire team which consists of about 14 or 15 people, including the moderators. I mean, I believe the total outgoings weekly is under $10,000, right? Now, for 14 people, that is extremely cheap. I've seen, teams where their lead developers being paid about $9,000 a week just himself. So what we're looking to do is say, hey, we're here for the long run. We are not taking this extremely high salary. We're not here for a pump and dump. We're here to build from Protocol X, right? So I'll be personally invested in my Protocol X bag, holding that until the X keys come out, using the X keys and portions of my rebases to then purchase a revenue share, upgrade it with X keys with my rebases, and then recycle that into the system. So then not only am I getting rebases, I'm then earning, stable coins, right? So that's what I'm doing personally from an investor point of view. However, I would never give financial advice, and obviously you could do exactly what you decide to do, whether that's hold, sell, not even buy it, or completely watch from the sidelines. That's down to you. But in a nutshell, we're here to grow Protocol X, grow that brand, and everything will be built to sustain the foundation as such. Everything, the entire ecosystem would never just focus on one part, making sure one thing isn't just dipping right or one thing's dying. We'd never just put all our focus. We want to build everything together, make it sustainable, and then grow from there.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. I know it's a little bit of a harder question, but I find that it really helps the investor to get an idea of the best route to earning the passive income beyond just the initial pump gains. I think it really helps them to get a picture of what they possibly can achieve with your project. Okay, now that we've talked about that, let's move over a little bit into marketing. It's always a big question from investors. Who will you guys be partnering with? Who will you guys be reaching out to? How will you be bringing in maybe the uninitiated? And indeed, how will you be reaching the crypto world? So let's talk about that. In the short term, in the mid, and the long term, how do you guys plan to market this project to bring in as many eyes and indeed investors as you can from all of the different areas of the finance world?
Yeah, so there's a couple different things that we're going to do here. Primarily, as we've seen this year compared to last year, there's a different form of marketing than it used to be. 1 year ago today, any random YouTube video out there, there was tons of people pouring into DeFi at very high rates of speed, brand new investors to the space. So you get those YouTube videos out there, you get them working, and they're able to start bringing in people and flooding into your project, right? This year is not that way. We're launching in a bear market, and yes, we've been in a bear market since November. It's just kind of taken the several bigger hits since then, and definitely in recent times, starting to recover just a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. So this initial early pre-sale marketing that we've done a total, what I'm calling a grassroots marketing strategy, where we are tapping into the people who are already here in DeFi primarily. We just have to get the word out, get our information out, get it as wide as we can. via AMAs primarily. We get up here, we talk, people can ask us questions, they can reach us directly and say, hey, this is what our project is about. This is how we're different. These are the problems that we're solving. If you're interested, come on in. If not, hey, thank you for listening, but we still keep moving, try to get to another party, etc. From there, we do have various connections that allow us to get, the standards, the CMC and CG listings that have to happen, and those variety of things there. We also have some other marketing things that we can be trending on different sites. I'll kind of put it that way now. That'll allow us to get the visual side of us out there to a broader audience, and maybe not as in the DeFi space quite as tight as many of us here might be. We also have a partner that is going to be announced on Friday that'll bring massive eyes, and I cannot announce it before them. I'm not allowed to contractually, but it'll be in reference to where we are launching our primary LP as a swap. So that'll be a very, very big eye bringer to us literally by day one of launch. So combined with all that, we've partnered with a variety of pretty solid people, and that's what I've been looking for here is good teams, good vision, good strategy, and that can be mutually beneficial to each other. Obviously, Ego, we've talked about. MDB, if you guys haven't checked them out, they're amazing. Vault Finance, what they're doing is incredible. Ashore for the DEX partnership for KYCs. Charity, which is a charity-run organization in crypto that allow businesses to get legitimate charity deductions. We've just been really tapping into genuine partnerships that allow us to grow together as one, because that is a new thing. This kind of grassroots movement is what you need to focus on. If you were to go out and spend 100 200,000 on YouTubers, you're not going to get anywhere near the influx that you would get just by spending 10 grand on AMAs at this stage that we are currently in. So that's our short term to midterm, and then obviously long term we can go much broader, take it overseas, take it to actual crypto conventions, get out there in the world. Obviously we're doxed, I'm KYC'd, I'm not worried to go to these things and kind of pitch my business. Also, not just beyond, not just what we currently have, but what we're looking to build to in the future. Once we announce that, there's a lot of very exciting things that we'll be getting into, and we'll be taking every single approach imaginable to get that word out there.
Brilliant. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the contract and tokenomics side of things. So who will be working on the contract in essence? Who's the dev? Who will be calling the functions? Are they third party? Are they in-house? And are you able to tell us who they are?
So I'll let Shib talk about this one. I know we've been taking it in turns, but he's working directly on the contract as we speak. So I'll pass this one over to Neil to have a word over.
Yeah, so one of our partners here is Solar. So Solar is the group that is developing our contracts, stuff like that there. However, I'm going to own the entirety of all these contracts. So I know enough from, obviously I'm not a Solidity dev, or maybe not obviously, but if you guys did not know, I'm not a Solidity dev. That's not my primary role, but I can navigate my way around the BSC scan contract demands, right? So the developmental side of it is the Solar team, and they are KYC, they are docs, they are very known, very transparent. We'll also have a CERTIC audit as soon as all that is finalized. Obviously, with an audit, you cannot have it evolving, or else you have to get another audit on it. So we'll get that CERTIC audit as quick as possible. Ideally, that'll be done on CERTIC side by next week. We have to get them the information this week and go from there, just to make sure there's nothing wrong with the contracts on a deeper level, of course. But then a lot of that is going to be me, using them as resources. But because I own the contracts and I'm trying to maintain this level of security and remove any chance of that rogue developer behavior, a lot of it's going to be me pulling the functions. And maybe I can expand that out at some point as I, get to know these people maybe more on a personal level, beyond just a business level. But I want it so that I am the one that's accountable for these on every step of the way. I give them what we need and what we want built. They're amazing. They're quick. They're efficient. They're great at what they do. It's truly phenomenal what they've put together for us. But that being said, I want the onus to fall on me on every aspect of it. And I think that's only fair for me, because if something goes wrong with the protocol, I can't blame them. It's on me, right? So that's kind of my basis behind it all there, is that I own it. I'm doing the pull functions. I'm kind of feeding into liquidity, but obviously they're right here I have them phone call away. I have several other people who I'm very close with who are good at Solidity that have kind of helped me navigate through some of these things. So I have a team effort that all kind of help me navigate this together as one, but primarily it's going to be me doing most of the day-to-day commands on there.
Okay, no, that's brilliant. It's always important for us, we found through experience, to know who that is, to know who's going to be calling the functions, just so that we can feel safer. And I know you know exactly what I mean by that in this space, because it's usually so anonymous. But yeah, are you guys doxxed? I hear your voices, but are you doxxed to the
Yeah,
community,
you're
and
on the
will you
website.
be?
Yes, so we've done a visual AMA. We've done one with Crypto Atlas. But if you're on the website right now, if you click About Us, everyone can see our faces. Scroll right to the top and click About Us. And yeah, there we are when it loads up.
All right.
So yeah, we're obviously doxed in video. We've done a video AMA of Crypto Atlas. We're going to be doing future video AMAs streaming on YouTube as well, to confirm that this is us. But if you're part of our community, anyways, usually we send funny pictures. I mean, I've sent pictures of me chilling with my pug every now and then. We're humans as well. We like to have fun with the community. I think that's one reason why I love being a community manager, is because I can gauge people on a level and have fun with them rather than just being, a robot. But there's been many times when we've, sent fun pictures in a chat of us in person. And obviously we'll be doing more video AMAs in the future as well. But that's the entire team on the screen now. If anyone's in the AMA, you've got Adam at the bottom, Jared, Stephen. Shout out to Stephen. His graphics are insane. He's the one who designed the website. You've got Jack, you've got myself, and you've got Neil as well. So the entire team is docs. I mean, hell, even our mods doxed themselves one day in the main chat. They just started having fun and doxing themselves. But yeah, we're here to stay. We've got video AMAs on our YouTube channel. Well, not ours directly, but if you jump in our Discord, you'll be able to see them. We are primarily a Discord community. I mean, we do have Telegram announcement channels. So if you really dislike Discord, you can just jump on that, and you can see all the updates as well. But yeah, we're entirely docs. We're partnered. Actually, our Dex is partnered with Assure, so they are the official partnership. If you don't know who Assure are, they're one of the leading KYC brands, which Shiv himself is also doxed. If you scroll to the bottom of the page here, you can actually see on the footer there is an Assure doc where you can, if you click a Assure KYC, it will pull up that Protocol X is obviously doxed, and that the team, well, Neil is doxed and KYC'd by Assure.
Brilliant. Beautiful. Safety is so important. And the fact that you're partnering with these companies is also very reassuring as well. So thank you for that information. It's going to pop back here. Now let's talk a little bit about the taxes. You guys have a little bit higher tax than normal. We are used to. So let's talk about it. On the white paper, it says that you will have buy fees of 13% and sell fees of 18%. Can you break that down for us and let us know why you chose those fee structures?
Yeah, so a couple different reasonings there. Primarily, that's the same percentage buy and sell that Titano is, and obviously Titano is one of the larger and original leading rebase protocols. So I guess that's kind of a basis there. I looked at a various other of these rebase protocols that are out there. So hey, some are higher than us, some are about what we'll be doing. So that's kind of where the baseline of this all started. And then from there, each piece of that buy and sales tax distribution is very well defined. So obviously there'll be some to the LP, there'll be some to the treasury, there'll be some to a direct buyback and burn wallet, and then there'll be some to the X shares as well. And all the different percentages are all listed out accordingly. But it's all kind of going back into the ecosystem in a variety of ways, either to the treasury for us to build, to liquidity, which obviously a strong liquidity is very, very important with any project, but particularly a rebase protocol, which is derived off of the creation of new tokens over time. The buyback and burn mechanism is fantastic. Having that built in is what you pretty much need to help the various sustainability variables, and that's just the base level what we have going on there. And then, of course, the X share wallets, which we talked about pretty extensively.
that percentage of the tax is something that a lot of the, actually, I'll say none of the other rebase mainstream protocols have, because they don't have the NFT revenue share system. So that 2% buy and 2% sell is funneling directly back into the ecosystem to the community who owns those NFTs. So that's kind of the way we do it there. It all funnels back in. And yeah, it is a tax and people don't always love that. But that being said, it is a fairly high APR for the token. And it's a system that's helping designed to build the token itself. But we're also not relying on those taxes to allow the sustainability variables of the token. So that's where some others might go wrong, is that is their sustainability variable, is those taxes plus the new buys. So Ponzi economic based and tax based. Ours is going to be via that outside revenue sources, via the ego bot and several other aspects there, MDB, freeway, whatever else we can get our hands on that makes sense from an investment perspective, that'll allow us to facilitate those buybacks and burns constantly, consistently, and strongly. And ideally, we'll be burning more tokens than our very, very, very large competitors, if you want to call them that. They're all friends. We're not trying to fight anybody. But those out there in the space that have similar projects, we may be doing larger buybacks and burns than them, even from our first and second weeks on.
Yeah, and just to add to that quickly is our taxes are actually variable. So as you may know, that our APR drops, right? So why would we, it get to a point if people are getting 0.5% a day, we won't need 18% tax, right? So one thing we can guarantee is, although we haven't got it set in stone that they will decrease, we have it in stone they will never increase. Now, a lot of the times tokens will use, and I honestly call it a scam tactic, these anti-whale systems and increased tax, they're not ethical. They're not right, and it is just a way to market the token that looks desirable. Now, when you introduce anti-whale systems so people can only sell a percentage of their token, you're basically doing market manipulation. The same way if you increase taxes, right? So the only way that we ever change taxes is by decreasing them. So the standard is obviously you've got the 13, 18%. However, if we go, hey, we can lower the sell tax now because we've gone up so high that we don't need it. The rebase is now so low, or we can decrease the buy tax. But there will always be that flat standard. It will never go higher than that. We would never, I haven't got I care about my morals. We would never increase the tax to like 29% selling tax because, what if someone has a family emergency, they need to pull some funds and you're basically punishing people for investing in your token. So we would never increase the taxes, only ever decrease them.
Okay, brilliant. Before we go to some questions from the community, I'll ask you if there's anything that you feel we haven't covered that perhaps you would like to cover before we go to community question time.
So I do have one thing, and then obviously Neil can touch base. We are still in pre-sale, obviously. The pre-sale is still live on our website. We are currently at $300,000, which is amazing. The good thing about our protocol is that everything that doesn't sell will be burning, which will already kickstart the protocol itself. Just to touch base on the burning mechanism of our protocol, it's not the same as a regular protocol, right? So usually what protocols do is send the money directly to a burn wallet. Instead, what we're doing is sending that percentage to a regular wallet. So then what we could do is conduct buyback and burns. So at least 50% of all the transactions will be in stable coins. So not only can we help with a rising floor mechanic, everything that we burn after the pre-sale will be purchased to be burnt. So instead of just sending it to the burn, it adds that extra bit of, volume for the holders, extra bit of non-sellable price increase as well, which also helps with the sustainability side. That is called the PXBB, which is the Protocol X buy and burn, and that is obviously one of the taxes within the contract. So it's not a generic burn system. What we did was say, hey, how can we make this benefit our holders more? And one way of doing so was instead of having an insurance fund, which most tokens have, the treasury builds up itself, right? So why do we need a further insurance fund? So what we're going to do until the burn is at least 25%. If we don't sell out the pre-sale, we'll have to, change that. But if the burn is at zero at the start, 25%, everything that is generated in that wallet will be purchased and burned. So there will never be a time when we go, hey, we're going to take $20,000 out of it to pay for marketing. No, until it hits 25% or change that if the pre-sale doesn't fill out and we have to burn a large amount of tokens, then obviously everything will be burned.
Okay, brilliant. I've got quite a few questions here now. Let's start getting into it. I think what I'll do is I'm going to unmute. Where are you? I'm going to unmute. He put his hand down. I was going to unmute Tyron. I'm going to unmute Vicky. Vicky 200. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, so can you hear me, guys?
Yep, we can hear you just fine. How are you?
Hello? I'm fine, dude. So, my question is, so can you tell us some of your partners that you have worked with? So, or would you plan to collaborate with in the future to top best projects?
Yeah, so I'm always looking at different opportunities for partnering with a variety of people. So they kind of have to meet a certain amount of guidelines. Anyone who partners with our decks is going to have to be vetted pretty extensively, including a KYC via. Sure, we do, we pay for that KYC from our perspective, but they have to get the KYC, and it gives them up to 2 people as well. But our partners so far, we've partnered with Ego first, and then we partnered with MDB, which Ego I talked about, the trading bot. MDB is an amazing mechanism. I would not do them justice going into everything that they can do there. I partnered with Charity, which is a charity-based protocol. I partnered with Vault Finance, who's bringing a basically a deflationary aspect to a LP token. We've Club Monte Carlo, which is it's a poker kind of sponsoring project. Assure DeFi, which I've already mentioned as the official KYC partner. So those are official partners that have already been announced. I have one that I cannot announce. It's an official partner that will be announced on Friday. That'll bring us much volume. I'm sure of that. So I very much look forward to getting that one out there. And that'll be in reference to where we are launching our swap. It will not be on PCS. It'll be elsewhere that we will launch, and it'll be good for us there. So with all that said, I'm always open to talking with new projects and new protocols and different people, large, small, new, upcoming. Doesn't matter to me as long as they meet the same values.
So that's great. That's great.
Yes, hopefully that answers your question.
So, yes. So, I want to know, issuing of token is a very simple process. So, however, building system and ecosystem is the most difficult part. My question is, can the demand for token increase, and how will this token be used in the ecosystem? Do you got the question?
So I'm not entirely sure exactly what you're asking about there, about the just increasing demand over time. Is that what you're getting at?
So I'll answer. I'll answer this quick.
Yes.
So keeping demand for the token is simple.
Yes.
So basically, what you have to do is you have to A, hype the token, and B, market the token. Now, not only do you have to do that at the same time, you have to create utility, right? So what the decrease in APR, the decrease in APY does is it allows us that extra time. Instead of in month 4 and 5, the token be completely unsustainable, we have that extra time to build, right? While the actual holders are still benefiting. So not only will we have more partnerships that we discuss and explore, we'll also have marketing plans and scheduled releases to keep the token, hyped. A lot of projects shoot all their bullets in 1 week or 1 month and produce everything instantly and go, hey, this is everything we've got to offer. We've launched it so quick, and then we'll go, hey, 4 months later, they've dropped nothing else. So we'll have a scheduled timeline for release. Everything will be based to be choreographed to keep the token exciting, keep everything maintained. But that's a great question. I understand what you mean. But yeah, everything will be planned accordingly to create that hype, to create the sustainability, and to make people to still want the token for months to come.
Okay, so about the security aspect, smart contracts are susceptible to failure, and many projects fall victim of this. So have you tested it through how reliable is your smart contract? Like, I want to know how safe is your
So our smart contracts being built by Solar, we've already discussed that our partnership with Solar. We've already confirmed them as well that they're willing to put their name towards it. And the founder and the developers are docs. So if the contract itself wasn't safe, I doubt they'd want to put their name towards it and being this, docs, we're docs, everyone's docs. Not only will we have them, we will have third-party third-party companies, A, audit, which we've already said about, and B, do security checks on the contract. So you can obviously get an audit that sees if there's any backdoors and such, right? But you can also hire people to actually look into the contract, make sure it's safe, do bug testing, sort of bug bounties, so to speak. And we'll obviously try and look for the correct security firm to do that. But as for security, we're not worried about security in a sense because it is one of our top priorities. But yeah, we will be going through third-party companies to ensure security, whether that be, for audits, we're looking to have multiple of them, or if it is security firms to do backdoor checks or white hat hackers to check. But obviously, professional companies and not just random people, of course.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Great project. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you for the
Appreciate
question.
you, man.
Okay, so let's. I'm going to unmute. Where did you go? I'm going to unmute Brother Dave. Brother Dave, go ahead. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Brother Dave, you've been unmuted. I'll give you a couple of seconds here. Okay, we'll try to get back to you, okay? Let's go with Thomas. 1 second here, everything's moving on me here. There you are. Thomas, please go ahead and ask your question. I've unmuted you.
Sir. Hello,
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
can I ask question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Wait.
Are you there? Please go ahead and ask your question, Thomas. Thomas,
Hello.
do you have a question, sir? Okay, I'll give you a couple seconds here, and then I'll have to move on again. I'm sorry.
RCI.
Okay. I think I heard Brother Dave there, so we'll go back to him. Brother Dave, I've unmuted you. Go ahead with your question.
Thank you so much. My question is, can you hear me?
Yes.
So one problem that we generally used to have in this auto compounding is that most times we end up it doesn't last. I have invested money, and if I don't sell on the first day, that's the end. That's the end. The project starts dying in at most 1 month if it lasts. Sometimes the last one I did, I don't want to mention the name, but they said they will relaunch. All of a sudden, they started giving back people $100. Um, and it was really sad because I put more than that and I saw it go up. At some point, you cannot sell everything. So many complications. So, but then the main thing I'm asking is, what is the sustainability of it? What difference? Tell me, like, sincerely, as a not because you want to make money personally as team, but do you have intention to actually keep this project going for a long period of time? Because we have seen so much, like the BSC space is becoming a ground for play. So many auto compounding, many, and all of that. Plus, I really want to should I say, analysis or breakdown on how you intend this your own project to stay longer than what we have seen in the space.
Yeah, so that's a great question. That's one of the primary reasons that we even build Protocol X, right? So I totally agree with you. Most of these rebase protocols, they don't even think about sustainability variables until multiple months down the road. And then by then it's too late, in my opinion. Then they're going to fall out. The floor falls out from under them. No one wants to buy the falling knife. The demand is not there anymore, and it's a problem. By us investing in that ego trading bot on day one, having our liquidity management system on day one, and then we also have this other mechanism within the Treasury LP, or excuse me, within the LP itself, that help give positive pressure towards the token. And we're taking that into high consideration because for us, we need this token to be strong and not super volatile over time to the point that I almost would rather it not like 10 times. I'll kind of let it pump a little bit, but then set our LMS into play to create what I'm calling a rising floor theory to support the token price over time. My 12-month strategy, by that 12-month mark, we're at a 0.5% daily APR. My 12-month strategy is before that 12 months, I want to be able to buy back and burn to a surplus of new tokens minted every single month. And I think I can get that quicker than 12 months, but at the worst case scenario, that 12-month mark is where I strategically can achieve that. And that's what we're looking to do there. Take this sustainability literally every step of the way, because just like you, I've recently lost tens and thousands in rebase projects, and I've gained in a couple, right? So you take some things that you've learned from their successes and failures of the past, you bring it into a new idea, facilitate a variety of different mechanisms to support the idea, and then now we're going to run this like a crypto business, not just a main business or whatever, but kind of take a lot of different things into consideration as we grow and develop our ecosystem, because we do need the community to want to get involved and stay involved with us here.
Thank you so much. I really hope this really stands out because, like I said, that's my fear. I listened and I like the whole idea about your project. Thank you.
Thank you. Really good question as well, brother Dave. Thank you.
Great
Oh,
question. Thank you so much. I'm going to unmute. Where did you go here? I'm going to unmute Azzy. 1 second here. Azzy, I've unmuted you. Please go ahead with your question.
Thank you very much. Good greetings.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Okay. I have multiples of questions. Should I ask them one by one, or should I bring them all together?
One by one, please.
Okay. My first question, okay, you've answered it, is about the security. You've answered that one. So I would like to know, after the pre-sale is launched, and after launch, when would you be going for the launch of NFTs, your NFTs, sir?
So the NFTs will be about 3-4 months away. The reason why 3-4 weeks away, sorry. The reason why is because we want to build some mathematical data to build their value. We want to see what the volume is like of the project off the get-go. The reason why is because we don't want to overprice the NFTs. We want to sort of format them where they're reasonably priced, that people from all angles can afford them. If they want to buy multiple, they can buy multiple. But what we don't want to do is have an NFT that is extremely overvalued or undervalued, which will affect the protocol, right? So what we're doing is we're going to build up some mathematical, history of how much the NFT wallet has earned, based that on how much each NFT would have earned, and then go from there. Obviously, we need to include external revenue sources as well, but we're just trying to create a foundation so everything can be fairly priced and that we can launch them properly.
Okay, thank you. Can I move on to the next question, sir?
Yeah, of course, go for it. That's fine.
Okay. When I've attended some of your AMAs and I read on your white paper, it said that the APY for daily is going to be 1.77 per day.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then I heard again that over time it will drop to 0.005% or 0.5%.
Yes.
Could you at least, I would like you to explain how this is done, because from 1.77, how would it go straight to 0.5?
It wouldn't. So every single month, the amount drops by 10%, right? So if you start at 1.77 and you divide that, you decrease 10% 12 times, that decrease 10% 12 times, sorry, that takes you to 0.5%, which is what the amount of daily APR will be by the end of year. So if you start from month one, that's 1.77%, right? And you take away 10%, that takes you to 1.59%. So every single month, the APR will be different. So it will start at 1.77% and it'll work its way down 10%. Now, it won't be 10% of 1.77 every month. So the first month will be 10% of 1.77. The next month will be 10% of 1.59. So once you break that all down and you keep dividing 10% every month, once you get to month 12, you then get to a 0.5%, which is what it will stay at.
Okay, that makes sense because I tried doing the math initially and I didn't get it, but this clears it up.
No worries.
Okay, and lastly, my last question, it's about the supply. I read that the total supply is unlimited and then you'll be doing buybacks and bonds. But then if the total supply is unlimited and you're buying back and you are burning, how does it affect? Because it's unlimited and you're buying and burning and more are still coming. It doesn't seem to correlate to me. So I
So
would like you to explain on this.
Of course. So the way it works is basic maths, right? So yes, the supply is elastic, which means that it doesn't have a fixed hard cap, a fixed amount, right? But what you do then is if you're using a 0x burn wallet to take away supply, that supply percent will then still rebase, all right? So say for example that the wallet was at 51%, right? So more of the actual rebase would be entering the burn wallet, which would then make it a sub negative. So eventually, if you can hit 51% in the burn wallet, the token turns deflationary, right? Because more tokens will be burned than would be coming into the ecosystem. So eventually, the supply will obviously hit. It will never hit a cap. If we turned off supply, if we turned off rebases, obviously it would. But the way we're looking to build it is that the project will have enough time to build sustainability where the increases of token won't become damageful. Now, the way it works, right, is especially from day one to day 365, right, is very, very, very rare and completely unlikely with how fast paced DeFi is that more than a couple of people, if not one or two, will hold the entire time without even selling once, right? Now, even if you sell a couple of days of rebases, that drops your annual APY drastically. Because not only are you losing the compound on that, you're also lowering your total APY. So yes, you'll be earning your daily APR, but with the daily APR dropping monthly, say we get to month 3 or 4, you're not going to have whales enter and be able to dump on people after a month because they've doubled their tokens. Yes, they'll still get a nice amount daily, but they won't be able to just enter and completely control the token and mess up people that have been holding the whole time. Because if you did hold from month 1 to month 7, the amount your tokens have increased over that period, you'd still be earning more even though the APR has dropped. So yes, it's an incentive for early holders, but it also doesn't affect anyone that buys later on in the time because you'll still be earning a nice APR.
Okay. Okay, I would have ended it there, but based on what you said, I have one last question.
No worries, that's fine.
Okay. Reading and listening to all you've said, this whole Project X, can work without Rebase. So why did you use Rebase?
Because that's a simple answer, really. Because we love rebase tokens, and we want to actually go, hey, how can we? As you said, you know, brother Dave said it as well, right? Every time an auto compound project comes on the market, they die out, or you know, they don't develop, or they don't do what. So what we're going to use is our passion to build a base from. Yes, you could say that we could do this without a rebase token, but if we did it without a rebase token, it also lose a lot of its uniqueness. The first rebase token to have an SEM model, the first rebase token to have a liquidity management model like we will. A lot more of that will come, and it will probably blow a lot of minds the way that it works. We're not announcing it yet because we're still working on finer details. We're also going to be the first rebase model to have, you know, NFT shares that have gamification. So there's a lot of ways that we're angling this. We love the rebase model. It's a very good way for the project to have sustainable income as well. And it's a good way for us to go, hey, let's invest the internals into external avenues, such as our ego trading bot, which we're very big advocates on. For example, if the project gets to, month 5 and we're able to have $2 million in that ego trading bot, now that's if it has a base month, which one of the lowest months was like 20% for the month, that's an extra, let me do the maths on that. If you've got 2 million on there, that's an extra $400,000 a month that the project is bringing from the outside. Not only can you build an entire blockchain with $400,000, you could do a serious amount of marketing and pay your entire development team to build and grow the project without actually taking any internals from the project. Now, what projects do further down the line is they start eating at their own coffers. So they end up selling the treasury, they end up selling team tokens, they end up eating away at the treasury. But our main goal from day one is to increase the treasury, make rebase projects actually borderline sustainable, and try our best to go, hey, we're bringing external revenue sources, we're pumping it back into the token, and we're actually making rebases somewhat sustainable, because realistically that 400,000 percent APY, there's zero chance of that being sustainable without heavy external revenue source. So if we're able to lower that and still reward early investors while also making it sustainable, then I'd say that's a win for DeFi in general, to be fair. Because if a rebase product actually does get to the end of 12 months and is actually sustainable, I think that'll change a massive look on the impact of DeFi. It may change, DeFi from being that Wild West and say, hey, this project was actually sustainable and it actually did last the entire time and is doing well. And that's our goal. We don't want to create a new wheel. We want to fix the wheel that's currently broken.
Thank you very much. I really learned a lot.
My
And
pleasure. Thank you for asking the
and
questions.
I'll definitely look up Ego, because I remembered you said they generated about 30% profit in a month, or was it
Well, the
32%?
ego trading bot did. I mean, last month it did 32%. I mean,
Yeah.
we're very big advocates. Shib has personal funds invested in there. I'm not going to say exact because that's obviously private, but it's something that we've been into for a while. Shib's absolutely, the team over at Ego are great, and we're very honored to be working with them as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question. I'm going to take one more question here because we're kind of running up on time here. Where was the question? Oh, here it is. Okay, it's from Snake Eyes, and he says, you mentioned that project owners can join Protocol X. My question is, can the community introduce a project to collaborate with Protocol X? If so, then what does the community get after they introduce this to the project?
I mean, if you're invested in the project, right, we don't really have a referral system, if that's what you're touching base on. If you're invested in a project and you want us to work with another project and there is a mutual beneficiary aspect from that, then we're happy to work with them. I mean, we don't do a referral system on that front. We do a lot of events and a lot of giveaways in our Discord. I mean, the project hasn't even launched yet, and we've probably given around $10,000 away. We obviously don't give away if people are sitting there begging. We do events to bolster holders. But as for partnerships, we listen to the community all the time. If there's someone that they want us to work with, we 100% look into it. But there's not really a referral or a beneficial for a holder if we partner with them. The main beneficial there is that we work with the token that you've recommended. We grow together and we're able to expand.
Okay, brilliant. I said that. Oh, did they put their hand down? Okay. I'll take one more question here from the community. Sonic, I saw that you've had your hand up for a while. Or Ronald, please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello, man.
Hello,
How are you
Ronald.
doing, man? So my question is, your project has a great future. There must be an experienced team behind. Can you tell me about your team and their experience in marketing? That's my question, sir.
Oh, marketing is very simple. That's one of my fortes as well. We are working with other people. That's not just in our team. I mean, we have a very extensive background of marketing. I mean, from multiple projects that we've worked for. Not only from multiple projects that we've worked for, we're also able to see how other DeFi projects are marketed, right? A lot of marketing is based on hype. It's all based on that adrenaline that it gives investors, right? So not only do we have multiple connections for most aspects of marketing, whether that be for YouTubers, the general trending coin market cap, but we're also looking at a different route. You can pay a YouTuber $25,000, right, for a YouTube video, but that won't get half of the amount of effect that doing an AMA and actually speaking to the community would. So we're looking to go for more hands-on aspects, whether that be in crypto conferences, expos, reaching out to actual teams, partnerships. We will do obviously YouTube videos, and there will be the generic banner ads, which in my opinion are a waste of money 9 times out of 10. But we're looking to grow it as a business, right? We're looking to grow mutually beneficial partnerships, grow within the space. But as for marketing experience, I'm very well versed myself in crypto marketing. I've got a lot of friends with a lot of connections. So marketing is really something we're going to do as a team. I mean, Neil himself, he knows how to, get in contact with marketers and promote the project, right? But we all know that marketing is just hype. You need to build up the hype. You need to grow. You need to have tangible assets there available for people to be engaged in and people to want, right? So marketing, we're not too worried about. We're looking to grow the project, the sustainability side, and obviously the marketing will come.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. So, can you permit me to ask another question about your marketing, please?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So, my question is, mm, my question is, I'll go. Wait, I'm coming. I'll go for you, man. Thank you, man.
Do you have a question? Right, okay, I'll take that as not then.
I think he had some real life stuff that all of a sudden he had to deal
That's
with
fine.
there.
Man, I'm coming, man. Just a minute, man.
Actually, we have to, Ronald, we have to move on now. Thank you for your questions. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give the team the opportunity to close up here. We've gone a little bit over time already. So whatever it is that you guys would like to close up with, but please let us know when the pre-sale starts and indeed when the launch is, how to get involved with the pre-sale if it's still available, and then of course anything else that you would like to close up with. Please go ahead, sirs.
Yeah, so I just want to say, hey, thank you guys for bringing us in here and hosting this AMA. Our pre-sale is currently live. It runs until this Friday at 1700 UTC. I believe I put in the pre-sale URL, but I might not have for the post there. But if you go to our website, protocolx.io, protocol-x.io, you can just hit pre-sale walks, just put it into the chat there. You can go right in there. You have to exchange with BUSD, but it's currently active and live and will be doing so until Friday at 1700 UTC. So we have another 4 days or so for that pre-sale. Definitely come check us out. Join our Discord. That's where most of our community is. We have a Telegram announcement group, and we're ready to build and work and get live here on Friday. So participate now. Let's get going.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us here today. You have a really great looking project, one that's long term, and that's not something that I say very often. I really look forward to seeing what you guys do, and I hope that you guys start a new trend of long term projects where you're actually not trying to cater to the Moon Boys, but you're really trying to create something real and sustainable and bring some some clout and more credibility to this space, which we need. So thank you guys so much. And with that, take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just need to close up one thing. Sorry, I forgot to mention, if that's okay with yourself.
No worries.
We're actually doing a little pre-sale event. So every maximum wallet, whether you bought before or now, is actually going to get a free Legendary X share, which has multiple aspects to it. You can find out more in our Discord. And we're also, any person that buys over $50 in the pre-sale is going to be entered into a lottery to win a free X share. And if you buy $1,000 plus, you get entered into a lottery for a legendary X share. So we're doing multiple things to help people and give back to the community. But I just wanted to clarify on that. You can find out more on our Discord or on our Telegram announcement channel. But yeah, thank you guys for having us. It's been a great AMA, and thank you for all the questions.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you guys. Take care. I know you're busy, so you know, I'll let you guys go, and drop by anytime to give us updates along the way. We would really appreciate that. So again, thank you guys, and take care.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.